Hello and welcome to Prudent IAS, one-stop solution for all the competitive exams. We are back with another interesting video. The approach for this video will be the same like our previous videos. We'll choose one topic, do some discussion over the topic, and then we'll phrase a model question as well as a model answer for you, where we'll be telling you the do's and don'ts of answer writing. So without wasting time, let's begin with the topic. So today our topic is foreign direct investment. Catalyst for economic growth. Now most of you must be aware which question we are going to tackle today, because we have already shared the question a day prior in our group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS on Telegram. If you have not joined it yet, do join it today, because there you can send your answers for evaluation, you can access others' answers as well, you can do some peer-to-peer interaction. Also we choose one answer daily for free evaluation. So let's begin with this topic. Everywhere you are listening about growth, economies booming. So what are the major factors? One of them is FDI, that is the foreign direct investment, which has emerged as a crucial driver of the economic development. It provides essential capital, technology and expertise to recipient economies. So what is exactly foreign direct investment? Let's take an example. For example, there's a firm or a company, a person, the government entity established in some other country and they invest in some other country, for example in India. Then it is known as foreign direct investment. But again, here is a catch. There are two terms which are very similar to each other, FPI and FDI. FPI stands for foreign portfolio investment, whereas FDI stands for foreign direct investment. What are the key differences between these? We'll be looking at in the upcoming slides. So, FDI facilitates the industrial expansion, creating employment opportunities, enhancing the overall economic performance. FDI has transformed numerous sectors across the economy. For any sector, what is important? First of all, if you want to start a business, a company, so you need capital, and that capital is brought in by FDI, some foreign entity who is investing. Then when they'll establish a company, of course there will be employment generation, which will help millions and thousands of people, which will ultimately impact our economic growth, and our economic performance will be better. So over the recent years, inflows of FDI have accelerated significantly. If you look at the data from, I guess, 2016 till date, FDI is increasing day by day, playing an increasingly vital role in the economic transformation. The investments have not only bolstered the capital formation, as I already mentioned, they bring in the capital, but also facilitate technology transfer, which is very crucial. So what used to happen earlier was, we pay for technologies, for various technologies which we don't have in India, we pay for these technologies to various foreign entities. But when through FDI route they are bringing in the capital, they even bring in the technology transfer. They'll teach our people, they'll teach our team the technology, and that will lead to the technology transfer, which can be used further for indigenous purposes as well. Infrastructure development, another important segment. Export growth, creating a foundation for sustainable economic advancement. So that's just a brief, don't worry, we'll be looking at this topic in depth in the upcoming slides. What is the definition of foreign direct investment? The most basic. FDI refers to an investment made by a person, mind you, the person can make a single person, a company or an entity from one country in business interest, that is profit motive, assets or operations located in another country. Now, a person or a company can invest for business interest, for profit motive, either in the assets, the operations, or both, located in some other country, not in their own country. This type of investment involves the establishment of a lasting interest in the foreign business, which means that they are not here for short term but for long term investment. Therefore, they acquire a significant ownership stake. They hold important positions. They acquire significant stake which is more than 10%, usually 10% or more, in a company or through the creation of a new venture. For example, they can create a subsidiary of a parent company. They can come in for a joint venture or greenfield investments. Now, what is greenfield investments? While studying about investments, there are two kinds of investment, greenfield and brownfield. Now, greenfield are all those investments where there is completely, the project is new, there is no pre-developed land. But in the brownfield investment, there is some land which is already pre-developed, and on the existing project or the existing land, the investment is done. So I hope the difference is clear between the greenfield and the brownfield. Just keep in mind, greenfield means green, everything green, new, fresh. So fresh start, fresh investment. But here, brownfield, already rusted. So some pre-existing venture, pre-existing field. Now, how is FDI different from foreign portfolio investment? FPI is not for long term. FPI is mostly for short term interest, whereas FDI involves a direct and long term investment in the foreign entity rather than just acquiring the shares, rather than just purchase of stocks or bond. In FPI, usually they just from some another country, they operate remotely, they'll buy the shares and bonds. But in FDI, they'll invest, they'll do technology transfer, they'll bring in the capital, they'll acquire all the important positions, they'll acquire the stakes more than 10% as well. FDI can bring in capital, advanced technology, expertise and access to global markets, contributing to the economic growth of the host country. Now, post 1991, what happened in 1991? LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So post 1991, India has already opened the doors for the global market, and ultimately the investment, the FDI started to boost, and at now FDI is at peak. So capital formation and employment generation. What does FDI do? What is the role or the impact? If the question asks about the role, the impact, the significance, benefits, all these terms, you are going to write about these topics. Let's check the first two, capital formation, and the other one is employment generation. You can always look at these graphs for a better visual understanding. You can even draw such graphs in the answer wherever required. So you can see manufacturing sector is leading the FDI and followed by services, technology, infra, etc. FDI serves as a significant capital source. They'll bring in the capital, the money required, particularly for industries requiring substantial investment. Now you can quote the data. You can quote any data, but the more latest it will be better. For example, here I've quoted a data which is 2021 financial year. India attracted approximately $81.72 billion in FDI, a 10% increase from the previous period. So when you are studying economy, you often look at the graphs, the charts. So what you are supposed to do is always make a comparative chart. For example, you will write in for financial year 2023, then financial year 2024, and the percentage growth. So you will have a better idea that, okay, for example, I believe for the financial year 2023 to 24, there is 0.13% growth, which is less as compared to the previous years from 2016 to 2022. All other aspects which you need to look in mind is the sectors where FDI is most. For example, manufacturing is one such sector, services, etc. And the sectors which are prohibited. For example, the prohibited sectors include the atomic energy, which are very crucial for sovereignty and integrity and security of India. That are atomic energy, some sectors like some agricultural, but agriculture is not completely prohibited. There are some sectors which are prohibited. So you need to look at the list, just look at it, have a glance at once. So you'll have a better picture in mind. Now beyond capital formation, FDI directly generates employment opportunities. That's pretty much clear, I guess, because if a company is established, if a business is started, then ultimately they'll hire people, and that will lead to employment generation. According to the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, foreign investment have created millions of jobs nationwide. It's very crucial to always quote the source from where you are taking the data. The automotive sector alone, boosted by investments from companies like Hyundai, Suzuki, Toyota, has generated over 2 million positions throughout the country. So whenever writing the answers, what you need to keep in mind is you can draw graphs, you can make a comparative study regarding the facts, the data. You need to quote the source while writing about the data. Next up, so these 2 points are clear, capital and employment. Next, very important is technology. Technology transfer and infrastructure development. Very simple ones. Foreign investments introduce advanced technologies and knowledge, driving innovation and enhancing production techniques. The technologies which we are not familiar with, they'll help us in the technology transfer as well. Digital infrastructure, another very important point. Approx $7.2 billion invested by Reliance, Jio platforms have already revolutionized the telecom, improving the internet accessibility. So one investment, one FDI is having many-fold benefits, right? Cloud computing. Now, what is cloud computing? Whenever anyone wants to access data storage, computer resources, anything, so they can do it easily without actually investing in the physical infrastructure. So cloud computing allows you to access all these computer related resources and data. So Amazon committed to training 1 million people through its AWS, that is Amazon Web Services program, where there are training people, enhancing the technical skills in cloud computing. So ultimately, skill development is very important to bridge in the gap between the job required and the human resources. So Amazon this is the one such example. Next up, we have advanced manufacturing. Foreign investments have modernized production facilities, improving efficiency and product quality. Better investment, better companies, better competition, better choices, and ultimately efficient product quality. So IT sector exemplifies the successful technology transfer through FDI. With investments from companies like Microsoft, IBM, Intel, India has become a global leader in the IT services, which is very important. We are actually leading in the IT services if you look at the data, significantly contributing to exports and employment. These investments have also catalyzed development of cutting-edge solutions, like we are leading in AI, blockchain, all these latest technologies, and even cloud computing. So all this is possible because of FDI's technology transfer. Infrastructure is also improved, which represents another critical aspect of FDI contribution. We have already mentioned about Reliance and Jio's transformation in the telecom sector. Similar investments across energy and transportation have addressed the critical infrastructural gaps, overall improving the economic efficiency. So another 2 points, the earlier ones were capital and employment. Next up, we have technology and infrastructure. For each, you need to write just one example. Next up, we have export growth. So every point is interlinked. Keep establishing linkages. Better infrastructure, better capital, better infrastructure, employment generation, technology transfer, export growth, human capital enhancement because of the skill development, skill training. So FDI has positioned India as the 5th largest car manufacturer globally. This was done back in 2016 as well. So we are leading with substantial export production, boosting foreign exchange earnings. Skill development, multinational corporations provide specialized training programs, as already mentioned. For example, Amazon, upgrading local workforce capabilities across various sectors. So what they do is they'll train the resources, the human resources, as per their requirement, which will ultimately bridge in the gap. The training is the practical aspect is more required, I believe, these days. Record FDI inflows during the pandemic strengthened economic resilience and improved balance of payments. So even in the adverse phase of COVID, the corona crisis, we were economically stable. Why? Because of various FDI inflows, record FDI inflows during the pandemic period as well. So they have significantly boosted the exports. Human capital resource enhancement represents another valuable FDI contribution. So FDI, all in all, positively impacts the balance of payments by increasing foreign exchange reserves and reducing the external borrowing needs. Now you can add some data. For example, according to the Reserve Bank of India, FDI inflows have consistently helped stabilize the economy, particularly during the challenging period, as already mentioned, COVID-19. So what you have done is you have just listed the examples, kept it in brief, analyzed both the points. Now the main segment of our video is always the model question, because this is an answer writing series. So today what I have done is I have framed a short question, but the model answer which I'll be giving you is a complete model answer, a comprehensive detailed model answer, which will not follow this 150 word limit. What I want you to do is I'll be explaining the answer in detail. Then I expect you to send us your answers either in the comment section or in the Telegram group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS within the word limit. I want you all to learn how to concise, and then when you will be sending us your answers, immediately you will be getting back a concise model answer for future reference as well. So let's look at today's question. How has the FDI inflow aided our nation's economic growth? 10 mark, 150 word. A very simple question, that role, significance, impact. You are supposed to write all the points which we have studied in brief in this question. How? That means you will address all the aspects in detail. What I want you to do right now is just pause this video, write one answer yourself. What you can do is, when I'll be discussing the answer in the upcoming slides, you can do some self-evaluation, or you can send us your answers in the Telegram group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. Let's look at the answer. As already mentioned, I'll be giving you multiple options, comprehensive, detailed, model answer, and I want you to concise this in 150 word. So always follow intro, body, conclusion approach. And this doesn't mean you need to write in. A couple of days ago I was evaluating one student's copy and I found out the student has followed intro, body, conclusion approach, but in single paragraph. So don't just follow intro, body, conclusion approach, but make sure that it is clearly visible. So always choose one paragraph for introduction, write one heading, then body of the answer, and then concluding paragraph. So introduction and conclusion need to be in separate paragraphs, not in single essay-like format. So you'll start by giving some insights about the topic, which is FDI. FDI refers to an investment made by individual, company or entity from one country into business interest, business operations, assets or enterprises located in another country. This much will suffice, but I have given you multiple options. You can choose either of these. You can merge, rephrase. If it's a 15 marker question, you can choose any two. So FDI typically involves acquiring a significant ownership stake, 10% or more, in a foreign company, establishing new ventures such as subsidiaries, joint ventures or greenfield investments. Again, FDI plays a crucial role in fostering economic growth by bringing in the capital, technology, expertise. In the context of our country, the inflow of FDI has significantly contributed to the development of various sectors, including manufacturing, services, infrastructure, technology, helping drive overall economic progress. So this is also complete in itself. It is telling about the significance and a brief about FDI. This is again a complete meaning, but for this you need to club it either with this one or this one. So always make sure the introduction is clearly giving the insights about the topic. Definition or the significance, or just the definition part is fine. I'll write or here because some of you might confuse. Do not write all these three. Next up, let's jump to the body of the answer. The body of the answer is the major part which will occupy most of your word limit. For example, if it is a 150 word question, then 25 words for introduction, approximately 100 words for body and 25 words for conclusion. This is how you're going to follow. Just keep it briefly in mind. You are not supposed to write all these structural headings, that is intro, body, and conclusion. These are just for your understanding. Please do not write. Often students write conclusion as the heading. Skip those headings. What you need to write as a heading is the demand of the question. That is the impact of FDI on nation's economic growth. Now this heading needs to be, what I always say is, self-explanatory. I always repeat these points because some students might be new, they might have started watching the video right from here. So I always repeat the previous points as well, but I always add some new points to the existing ones. To make it self-explanatory, use uppercase, that is capital letters, to highlight, or if you're writing in small letters, then you can draw a box over it, you can underline it. Just make sure to highlight the heading. Next up, what you can follow is, you can use the heading, subheading, that is heading, subheading, and point format, or you can use a flowchart, but make sure the flowchart is not congested. It is properly aligned. For example, if this is your answer sheet, the margins, then the flowchart needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4. There must be no congestion between the points. You can also use this circle and this, but I believe these structures will look more professional and neat. So boost to capital formation. I have already discussed all these points in detail in the previous slides, so I'll just read out and focus only on the structural parts. You can just get these PDFs if you want, then you can just comment that you're requiring about these PDFs. We'll be sending you the PDF links, or you can join our group, there we'll be sharing this content. So boost to capital formation, just now again I have put down all the points in detail. It is not following the word limit, but what you need to do is read it out and just concise it. Learn how to concise the points. Boost to capital formation, significant source of capital for the country. What you can do is, for example, just write this, quote the data, and mention the data and the industries like manufacturing, services, and infrastructure. That would suffice. Next up, employment generation. Always use alphanumeric digits, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, or ABCD instead of bullets. Now FDI. Now you must be wondering why I have used short form FDI, because in the previous slide, if you remember, here in the introduction itself, what we have done is, first we have used the full form and then we have written a short form. Now from here onwards you can use these short forms, but you cannot solely depend on the short forms. First you will be required to write the full form of the word, then you can use FDI. So next up was employment generation. Again, quote some data from a valid, reliable source. Technology transfer and innovation, improvement in infrastructure. You can quote the examples of Reliance, Jio, all this we have discussed. Now I want to see how you are going to concise this. This part I'm leaving up to you today. I have given 7 points here. What you can do is either just write these 7 points without point. You can just explain in brief, or you can choose to write any 4 or 5. That would suffice. Do not breach word limit. Increase in exports and foreign exchange earnings. Enhancement of human capital. For example, Amazon has invested in training programs using AWS, that is Amazon Web Services Program. Again, first full form, then the short form. Improvement in the balance of payments, already discussed above. So what are the parameters while writing the answer on which you are usually evaluated? The first one is, of course, the content. The content must address the demand. Next up we have presentation. Presentation involves the structure, that is, the structure is concise, neat, and will also include, first include structure, and the other aspect is handwriting. Handwriting is very important. often students write in such poor handwriting that even if they have hold on content, they cannot get good marks because the words are not even legible. So content, then presentation, again structure. You can use bullet, subheading, heading, flowchart. Structure also involves adding alphanumeric digits, that is 1, 2, 3 or ABC. Handwriting. Third up we have language proficiency. See, if you are choosing by will English medium, then we expect you to have some proficiency, some good hold on language. If you are facing any difficulties in the grammar, in the language proficiency, then too you can comment us. We'll be helping you with that as well. In any of the parameters, if you are facing any problem, you can just write it to us. We'll be helping you. So language proficiency is another parameter. Do not use jargons. You are not supposed to use complex language, complex sentence. Use simple language, the way we talk, but the meaning must be loud and clear. Then word limit, if you are following the word limit or not. It has two aspects again. You do not need to breach the word limit, that is not more than the given word limit, and even not fall short of the word limit. If the word limit is 150 words, then 100 words won't suffice. At least 140 words are required. So always be careful with the word limit. Next, what are all the extras? You can underline the keywords to highlight them, that is keywords. Then sixth up is the use of specific terminology. Now what is this terminology? For each subject we have some key terms. For polity we'll be using different language, a bit lawyer constitutional language. For economics some different words, for geography another. So it's important using subject specific terms. This will definitely help you in fetching better marks. Next up, after terminology, this is the most crucial part, that is conclusion. What students do, they often breach the word limit in the body of the answer, or they are not using the space efficiently. So the page limit is already done. They are done with the page limit and they skip this conclusion. Do not skip the conclusion. Always mention it. Even if in brief summarizing line, that would also suffice, but it is very important. So in conclusion, FD, and also skip this heading. This is just for your understanding. Skip heading, just write from here. In conclusion, FDI has played a crucial role in the economic development of our country by contributing to capital formation, job creation, technology transfer, advancement, infrastructural development, increasing exports. FDI continues to drive growth in various sectors of the economy. This is sufficient, but again I have given one more line. As of the recent trends, India remains as one of the top destinations for FDI. Globally, with continuous reforms and conducive business environment, the future potential of FDI in our economic development remains highly promising. Now, another two aspects which just came out from this is, what you need to check is, what are the top countries, FDI's top investing country, investors in India. So if you'll check, you will find Mauritius, Singapore, US. These are the top countries which are investing in India. I think Mauritius is leading right now. Just check it out. And you need to update. These are all dynamic news, right? While reading the current affairs, what you need to pick up is these points. What are the top investors, where India is investing, how much FDI we are getting in the financial year, the quarter. You can use all these resources. So the top destination, again, one of the top, India was in the top 100 destinations receiving the highest FDI. So all these key facts regarding FDI, this can be included in the answer. So this is how your answer is going to look. I have presented the sample answer for you, but before checking out the sample answer, please try to write it in concise points yourself. So this is introduction, heading, the body of the answer. I have concised all the points over here as per the word limit, so the word limit is not breached. The points which are in bold, what you are expected to do while handwriting, while writing the handwritten answer, just underline these points, right? Just underline all these points. So this will help in highlighting the keywords. So this is how your sample answer is going to look. You can complete the 10 mark answer in 1 or maximum 2 sheets, not more than that. In 15 marker, you can use 3 sheets. Intro, body, conclusion. I hope the topic is pretty much clear to you, and more than that, the structure of writing this answer. We'll be coming up with another videos. Till then, subscribe our channel Prudent IAS as well as join our Telegram group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. Thanks for watching.